Hey there YouTube, this is sjm4306 back with another video. You can see here I have my Switch on the screen, not because anything's wrong with it, but because I was contacted actually by a seller and they wanted to send me some goods for review and to do a like a tutorial video. So the seller is, I believe it's pronounced Jemall or Jemall. It's Jemall. Their links will be down below in the description. And so this video is actually going to focus not on the Switch itself, but on the Joy-Con. So it is a common issue. I've seen plenty of videos on it where people get joystick drift. Basically, when they're playing, even if they're not touching the joystick, their character will be moving in one direction, basically. It's as if the joystick is being pressed down permanently in one direction. And you can compensate for it, but that's kind of, you know, not a good thing for games that require like precise inputs. So Jemall sent me a set of replacement joysticks. And even though there's nothing wrong with my current joysticks, they are a little bit loose, wiggly. I got the second hand. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and just replace the joysticks and show you guys how to do it in case you are having issues with your Switch. So we're gonna just go quickly through everything that's included in the kit. So it includes 2 screwdrivers. One is going to be Phillips and one is going to be Tri-Wing. So this is the Phillips and this is the Tri-Wing. Can't really see it there, but anyway. So nice that they include that. Additionally, they come with a very fine pair of tweezers, and these appear to be anti-magnetic. So this will be definitely very useful, especially getting these tiny little ribbon connectors open and disconnected without damaging anything is difficult to do with your bare fingers. So having an extra set of tweezers is definitely really useful. You can see the new joysticks here. They feel pretty much exactly, actually a little stiffer than the original joysticks, which I actually prefer. These are a little bit too loose. Then again, I got these second hand, so I can't really judge if these are how they're supposed to feel. I've never held a brand new Switch Joy-Con in my hand, but these feel pretty good. They have the center click as well. And interestingly enough, the seller includes a couple of these rubber pads that just slide right over and they'll fit on top to give it a little extra grip and make the head of the joystick just a little bit larger for you to catch on your fingers. So that's going to be interesting. I'll try that out after I do the installation. First step though is getting these suckers open. You can see obviously I have the clear aftermarket shells on here, but you know, this will obviously work with stock Joy-Con. So we're going to take the Tri-Wing. Yeah, you can see it has a Y there. It says Y.06, and then this has a cross 1.5. So those are the sizes. But yeah, we're just going to open basically 4 screws in you know, each Joy-Con, and we'll get them popped open. Okay, so one thing I noted is as soon as I tried to use the Tri-Wing screwdriver that came with that, I think this is way too small. So I can't remember if these are the original screws or the ones that came with the aftermarket shells, but basically I'm worried about stripping the screw. So I'm going to use this Tri-Wing that I use for pretty much everything, and it's quite a bit larger. Okay, both of these will just open. There's a little clasp on the outside. Just get your fingernail in between and just open them like a book. And there we go. We're gonna not mess with any of these connectors, try to leave them in so that we can open this up. So we're gonna flip the batteries out. There might be some adhesive. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and so we are going to need to do a couple screws here. For the, let's see, the right hand side, there's going to be 1 screw, let's see, 2 screws up top, and then 1 screw at the bottom, and these are Phillips, so hopefully our Phillips will fit. Yeah. Then our mid-frame bracket will loosen. Be careful, there are springs for the, let's see. Yeah, we got to remove the antenna first. There are springs for the shoulder buttons, and you do not want to lose them. So I would actually suggest just removing the button and the spring itself so it doesn't ping out. And I'm going to suggest kind of setting everything aside. Instead of undoing all the ribbons, we're going to try to leave as many in as possible. So the only ribbon that we really do have to undo is the one for the actual joystick. Just lift it, the latch up, there's a black latching bar, and then very carefully pull out the ribbon. Then it's just a matter of 2 screws, and there we go. Just make sure you keep the screws. And here's the old joystick. The new one, the flex color is green instead of blue, but otherwise it looks almost identical. There's maybe some differences in the cutouts and the placements of the tabs there. But other than that, there's really not that much different. The rubber itself is, obviously it's cleaner. It looks shinier too, actually, interestingly enough. And it does feel just a tad bit firmer, which I actually tend to prefer. So we're gonna just take the joystick, and you're gonna have to work it a little bit. There's a black separator pad. Here, let me get close up. There's this pad right in here. I guess it's to like keep dust out or something like that. And you're gonna have to wiggle the joystick a little bit to get it past that, and then it's just gonna seat right in. So then we're gonna take our 2 screws that we just took out and secure the joystick back in. Obviously this is still powered, the battery's still attached, so make super extra sure to not slip and short anything out. If you are worried about that, then just take the battery out, which is as easy as just pulling on the, there's a white little connector that the wires for the battery is connected to. And there we go. To get the ribbon back in, just going to very carefully take the connector and slide it back in, and it looks like it's in. We are going to take our shoulder button. It obviously still turns on, which is a good sign. And flip this around very carefully and take our 3 screws and re-secure. Gonna replace the battery, replace the antenna, and loosely pop it together. We're actually going to run a quick test before screwing this fully back together, just to make sure that the new joystick ribbon was inserted correctly, because it's kind of difficult to tell. And obviously it still works. Up, down, left, right. And it feels just pretty much exactly like the original one, just a little bit crisper, a little bit stiffer. It works. So, just gonna remove that, put this back to sleep, and gonna continue on with this guy. So this guy is pretty much gonna be very similar, with the exception that the screws for the mid frame are in different places. There's 2 diagonally in the center here of the mid frame, and there's 1 at the bottom as well. Take this, swing it out of the way, and for this joystick, it looks like we are gonna need to either undo this ribbon for the actual trigger itself, and just remove that, or easier is just to unscrew this 1 screw here and then lift up the ribbon so that we can gain access to the 2nd screw. Oh, it's actually not the trigger, it's the, let me see. Yeah, it's the minus button on this guy. So we just want to move it, not pull it all the way because it's still attached to this shoulder button board, but we just want to gain access to this screw. Get both of these screws out. And we're going to undo the connector and then just lift it out. This one's a little trickier because there's an extra ribbon in the way, but we can remove it and just plop the new one in its place. Being careful to avoid the various ribbons. Sorry if my hands are in the way. This is pretty fiddly work. There we go. Just out of the way enough that we can actually get to the lobe for the screw hole in there. Just gonna put these two back in. Lower one's in. Gonna quickly put this screw back in for the minus button. Okay, before we do anything, we are going to get this ribbon back in. Okay, carefully, swing this out. Get the joystick back in, or the shoulder button, sorry. It's hard talking while doing this fiddly stuff. And just so everything doesn't pop apart, we're going to go ahead and do these two screws. Swing the battery back around and just sort of temporarily clip it. Going to go back in here, let it connect. You can see the joystick works as well. So just a matter of putting 4 screws back in, and our joysticks are good to go. I'm going to do that on my own time. You guys don't need to see me screwing 4 screws back in the outside. Anyway, you can see it all works. These are nice and firm now, the joysticks. The other ones had a little bit of wobble in them. So we are going to see next up how these actually feel. They just sort of slide on. They have a little lip around it, similar to how you'd put there's a little ear pad covers on earbuds, the foam covers. It just fits right in. Yeah, I like that actually. That does not feel bad at all. It's my thumbs aren't particularly big, so I don't have that much of an issue with gripping tiny little joysticks, but yeah, that actually feels pretty good. So anyway, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll have links down below if you guys are having joystick drift and whatnot. You can buy a set of replacement joysticks. They're, I believe, like 13 or 14 bucks listed on their Amazon page, and the links will be down below. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was clear enough. Kind of hard to do really tiny little repairs with a camera phone. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.